a minute. Damian Lillard. Yeah, cash.
When Damian Lillard finally left Portland, everybody thought we knew how the story would go. Small market team loses its franchise superstar, bottoms out in the standings, and disappears into a 5-year tank job while the rest of the West moves on. But that's not what happened. 2 seasons after trading Dame, the Portland Trail Blazers are 31-34, sitting 10th in the Western Conference and firmly in the play-in mix as of early March. This is with one of the youngest rotations in basketball, built around guys who mostly can't even rent a car yet. Instead of being a free win on the schedule, they're an annoying, physical, up-tempo team that can drop 115 points on you on any given night. What makes this wild is how fast it all came together. In 2023-24, this team was near the bottom of the league, starting over with a rookie point guard, a raw scoring wing, and a front office that had to untangle years of win-now moves. 1 year later, they've already passed their rock-bottom phase and turned into a group that actually scares veteran teams fighting for playoff seeding. So in this video, we're going to look at how Portland pulled off one of the fastest functional rebuilds in recent NBA history, the moves that made it possible, and why a team that was supposed to be irrelevant for years might be coming for the West way sooner than expected. To really understand how wild this turnaround is, you have to remember just how bad things got at the end of the Dame era. Before the trade, Portland was already slipping. In 2022-23, they went 33-49 and finished 13th in the West, nowhere near serious contention. The defense was a mess, the roster was unbalanced, and every retool around Dame move just seemed to dig the hole deeper. By the summer of 2023, Lillard finally asked out, and the front office had a choice: keep chasing the play-in or hit reset. The reset hit hard. After trading Dame to Milwaukee in that 3-team deal with the Bucks and Suns, the 2023-24 Blazers cratered to 21-61, dead last in the West. They ranked near the bottom of the league in both offensive efficiency and net rating, giving up 115 points per game while struggling to score 107 themselves. On most nights, it didn't just look like a team that lost its star. It looked like a team that had no identity at all. From the outside, the narrative was simple. Portland was headed for a long stay in the lottery. Small market team, no proven all-star, a bunch of young guys who hadn't figured it out yet. That's usually the recipe for 3 to 5 years of "we'll be back soon" speeches. And that's what makes what happened next so shocking. Instead of sinking deeper into the tank, the Blazers used that 21-win season as the absolute floor and started pushing the ceiling higher than expected. It was clear that Portland had a clear starting point: rock bottom. From there, Joe Cronin's job was to turn one era ending into the beginning of something new, and the way he did it makes a lot more sense when you look at it year by year instead of move by move. It really starts in late 2023 with the Damian Lillard trade. Portland moves on from its franchise player and brings back a package built around DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara, and future picks. That first step is less about winning right away and more about resetting the timeline, getting a young starting caliber big, a defensive forward, and draft capital instead of older, win-now pieces that don't fit a rebuild. The 2023-24 season becomes the evaluation year. The Blazers take their lumps, finish near the bottom of the West, and use that time to see what they actually have in guys like Scoot Henderson and Shadon Sharpe alongside Ayton and Camara. It's ugly in the standings, but it gives the front office a clear picture of who can grow with the next version of this team. In the summer of 2024, they get more aggressive. Portland packages Malcolm Brogdon and draft assets to go get Deni Avdija, a young forward who fits the exact direction they're trying to go: size, playmaking, and defense on the wing. That move is a clear signal that they're starting to shift from collecting pieces to targeting specific fits. Then in 2025, they take another step toward being a real team again by moving Anthony Simons in a sign-and-trade for Drew Holiday. That adds an all-defensive veteran guard who can stabilize the locker room, set a standard for the young guys, and still serve as a big contract-level asset if another major move comes along. By the time you reach the 2025-26 season, Portland feels more refreshed. It feels like a straight line. From the Dame trade, to a hard reset, to targeted additions that all push Portland toward the same identity: big, smart, defensive, and built to last. By the time you get to the 2025-26 season, the outline of Portland's future is pretty clear. The front office isn't just collecting names anymore. You can actually see a core forming on the floor every night. It starts in the backcourt with Scoot Henderson. After a rocky rookie year, Year 2 looks a lot closer to what people expected when he went 3rd overall. He's averaging around 14 points and over 5 assists per game, with stretches where he lives in the paint, puts pressure on the rim, and controls the tempo like a real lead guard. When Scoot gets into his downhill groove, the entire offense looks different. Shooters get cleaner looks, bigs get easy dump-offs, and defenses are constantly rotating. Next to him is Shaedon Sharpe, the wing scorer every rebuilding team hopes one of their lottery tickets turns into. By this point, he's averaging 21 points on 45% shooting, using his athleticism to attack closeouts, finish above the rim, and create his own shot late in the clock. He's not a finished product, but he's already the kind of guy who can explode for 30 on any night, which gives Portland a real scoring punch on the perimeter. Then there's Donovan Clingan in the middle. As a rookie, he's already putting up a double-double, around 11 points and 11 rebounds a night, while protecting the rim and cleaning the glass. He gives them something they haven't had in years, a true anchor on the back line who can end possessions and punish smaller lineups inside. Together, those three give Portland a real identity: a downhill playmaking guard, a dynamic scoring wing, and a physical, productive big. Add in the size and versatility from guys like Avdija and Kamara, and it stops feeling like a theoretical core and starts looking like the skeleton of a future playoff team every time they step on the floor. What really pushed this rebuild into overdrive were the guys who weren't supposed to be centerpieces. Deni Avdija and Toumani Camara came in with way lower expectations than Scoot, Sharpe, or even Ayton, and they've ended up being a huge part of why Portland looks like an actual team instead of just a collection of prospects. Start with Avdija. When Portland traded for him in the summer of 2024, a lot of people saw it as a gamble on a nice role player who hadn't fully popped yet. By 2025-26, he's delivering a legit all-around line: 18.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game, while shooting 47.9% from the field. He gives them a 6'9" forward who can initiate offense, run pick and roll, and consistently create looks for others. That takes a ton of pressure off Scoot to do everything with the ball, and it lets Sharpe focus more on scoring instead of always having to self-create. Kamara is the other quiet win. He arrived as more of a throw-in, but in 2025-26, he's putting up 10.4 points and 5.7 rebounds per game, shooting 36.5% from 3 while guarding the toughest perimeter matchup most nights. He switches across positions, competes on the glass, and does all the connective stuff: cutting, screening, running the floor, that doesn't always show in highlights but absolutely shows up in winning lineups. Around those two, the Blazers have filled in with role players who follow the same template: size on the wing, defensive commitment, and enough shooting or playmaking to keep their spacing intact. That's the difference between a normal rebuild and what Portland's doing. Every new piece reinforces the same identity, which is why this has come together way faster than anyone expected. All of this only matters if it shows up in real games, and for Portland, it does. As of early March in the 2025-26 season, the Blazers sit at 31-34, 10th in the West, and firmly in the play-in mix. They're not a finished product, but they've already turned into the kind of team veteran squads hate seeing on the second night of a back-to-back. Offensively, they play fast and aggressive. Portland has a pace of 100.9 possessions per game, which puts them in the upper half of the league, and they pair that with a 114.4 offensive rating this season. They're scoring 115.3 points per game while hitting 14.3 threes a night, top-tier volume from deep, even if the percentage, around 33.8% from 3, still has room to grow. That combination of pace and three-point volume means they can put up points in a hurry, especially when Scoot is getting downhill and Sharpe and Avdija are shooting confidently. Defensively, they're not a lockdown unit yet, but you can see the blueprint. They give up 118 points per game and have a negative net rating overall, but lineups with their main core pieces tend to be much more competitive than the full season numbers suggest. Klingon cleans the glass and protects the rim, Kamara takes on tough perimeter assignments, and Drew Holiday gives them point-of-attack defense and structure when he's on the floor. In short, this is already a team with a clear modern profile. Fast pace, high three-point volume, multiple ball handlers, and enough length and size to bother people defensively. They're not just fun and young, they're 1 or 2 steps away from being genuinely dangerous once the defense and shooting efficiency catch up to the effort and talent. When you zoom out and look at the rest of the West, it's easy to see why teams are starting to get uncomfortable with what Portland is building. Most contenders are built around stars in their late 20s or early 30s, juggling big contracts and shrinking windows. Portland's best players are mostly in their early 20s, already putting up real numbers, and they're only going to get better together. On offense, they've got the ingredients that translate in the playoffs. A downhill guard in Scoot who can bend defenses, a 20-plus point wing scorer in Sharp, a 6'9" playmaker in Avdia, and a double-double center in Klingon. That mix of rim pressure, shot creation, size, and passing is exactly what you need when the game slows down and every possession gets tighter. It means they can attack you from multiple angles instead of living or dying on one superstar. Defensively, they're not elite yet, but the potential is obvious. Kamara and Drew give them real point-of-attack and wing defense. Klingon anchors the back line, and Avdia adds another big, smart body who can switch and help. You can already imagine a playoff series a couple of years from now where they're throwing wave after wave of length at opposing stars while still having enough offense to punish you on the other end. And the scary part? This is all happening before they've even hit their collective prime, and they still have picks and movable contracts to make another big move. For established contenders, that's the nightmare. A young, flexible team that's already annoying to deal with now and is only going to get more dangerous every season they stay together. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Blazers' fast rebuild, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts on their ceiling in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive.